water poisoning is a thing. So I'll try my best to not be poisoned. I'll tell you what, if I am poisoned though, that could be good publicity for the podcast.
Would it?
Yeah.
Would it? Would it?
What on a poison Pokemon? Yes, sirree.
I'd still prefer it if you weren't poisoned.
Well, do you know what? If I am poisoned, that's a lot off my to-do list.
Yeah.
Right. Well, on the note of poison, shall we go into the next episode?
Let's do it.
Right. Boom. Nidoking. Have you had one? What's your memories?
Yeah. I have had one. I got it up to, fill the decks, and then I chucked it in the box, like I did with all these Pokemon I never fucking use. I did say, and I've brought this up in the previous ones, that I wanted to do a replay of Let's Go Eevee, where I used a Nidoking. Um, and I got it up to a Nidorino, and I just wasn't using it. It wasn't good. Like, and I was just like, I'm gonna chuck it in the box. I'm sorry, it just doesn't get used. It's not a good, like, if I was going to, I would need to construct a team around my Nidoking in order to properly you could utilize one.
Yeah.
And I just wasn't doing it. I was like, right, I'm going to think of some Pokemon I don't use much from the first generation, ones that like didn't really get a shot. And honestly, that like the reason I didn't get a shot is because you get them so late in the game. All of the fire Pokemon are so late in the game. Like some of the really good water Pokemon come really late in the game. Like I just didn't like there is a reason I never used a Dugong, even though I think they're fucking cool. There is, and like I know you get Nidoking, you get Nidoran fairly early on, but like Nidoking just like didn't really feel like it was doing much for me. So I didn't even yeah, so I used it as Nidorino for a bit, got a Moonstone, evolved it, and then fucked it off because it's just not I couldn't.
Yeah.
Apart from that, my memories of it are like Giovanni has one. There's one in like the movie that Mewtwo fights, but there's some scattered around in the background, and they always look big and cool and scary. But again, I don't remember a whole load of like plot lines that stand out to me, and I feel like again, it's very similar to Nidoqueen in that they gave it kind of a one note like role
Yeah.
uh, didn't develop too much of a backstory or personality. I feel like we're going to see something very similar to the Pokedex entries for Nidoqueen, where all of them look, they've basically focused on only one thing rather than like working together to develop a really interesting and well-rounded backstory up until Generation 9, where it's just going to be absolutely excellent.
Yeah. I mean, my guess is that they're going to go with it's really angry. I feel like that's the route they're going to go with. And again, I feel like it's probably going to be a bit of a missed opportunity where they could have gone down there. Like I mentioned lionesses before, like they could have easily done Nidoqueen's like the actual hunter-gatherer kind of like provider, and Nidoking's the one that like stays with the pack. I feel like
Yeah.
they could have done that.
Yeah, it could have been a really cool sort of like switch up, and they clearly have chosen not to go with that.
But yeah, I do. I think it's going to be. I feel like it's going to be. It gets really angry. It gets really big. It gets really aggressive. And they're going to go down there. If you like try and attack a Nidoran,
Nidoking will appear out of nowhere and fuck you up.
yeah. So the ones that I
Yeah.
think of, so like I immediately thought of Gary Oaks, Nidoking, and maybe he had one. I think Giovanni's got one. I want to say Blue in the games have got one.
Yeah.
Like I want to say in Let's Go Eevee and Pikachu when am I right in thinking Blue is the Vermilion City gym leader at that point?
Yep.
Yeah, so
I think so.
I want to say he might have one at that point. I get the feeling that this is possibly going to be like they're probably going to do it slightly less dirty as a result. Like, in the game, I feel like out of the two, there's the more chance that people are going to use Nidoking, and I think that that's going to be shown in. It's going to have slightly better kind of offensive, defensive capabilities. versus what we saw with Nidoqueen. Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, like I say, I mean, the thing I was shocked about with this was that I was like, okay, I know that Gary Oak's got one, and I know that it fights Mewtwo, and for some reason I had misremembered that as them having more significance than they did.
Mm.
Like, I mean, when you think about that fight, like, did you feel like Nidoking had like a big, a big role in it?
I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I feel like it's very blurry. I remember like the bits where like it's Nidoking versus Nidoking, Charizard versus Charizard, that sort of thing, more than I remember the bits with Mewtwo fucking them all up because they're all kind of there,
Yeah.
you know. It, it's been too long since I watched it, I think.
I tell you what, right? I'm going to say this, and you might say, "Oh, well, you're actually wrong there." But like, I, I've always felt like they're missing a trick, not having, in the same way that like Pikachu has like alternative costumes. You know, like they can wear a
Yeah.
hat and stuff. I've always felt like you should have the option to do like armored Mewtwo.
Yeah.
You know, and it looks like how it does in the anime. Um, you know, with like the lit up eyes and all the kind of
Yeah.
all the tubes and the piping and stuff. Um, but yeah, that's like I say, my main memory of Nidoking it turns out is more of an Arcanine memory.
Yep.
So that probably
And you've just superimposed Nidoking over the top.
yeah. Um, and now I know a bit about writing. Like I know that they did that to like emphasize that like Mewtwo can like fuck up two Pokemon.
At the same time that
Yeah.
are both known to be powerful Pokemon as well.
Um, but yeah, it's what I suppose I was getting at is I feel like it's slightly more memorable than Nidoqueen.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely.
So should we have a look at the dex entries?
Let's do it.
Fantastic. There they are. Here we go. I think that picture there looks very similar to the one that you drew.
I think that is the sprite art that I was thinking of when I drew it.
Mm.
I think I think mine's maybe a bit fatter, but we all know I do like a fat Pokemon
Yeah, yeah.
because I feel like I've gone straight from belly to spines in the back,
Yeah,
and it's kind of yeah, I don't know.
yeah. He like this official artwork. I feel like he definitely looks more like he's been in the gym than
Yes.
yeah, like you know he's got that kind of like thinness at the sides. Like I feel like I imagine him with more of a dad belly.
Yeah, me too. And I think like looking in the back where I think he's got more of a shell than I was picturing, if you know what I mean.
Yeah,
Um, but yeah,
I feel like
and yeah, he's got like some fierce abs going on.
yeah
I reckon there are some monster fuckers out there that would do Nidoking.
oh yeah. Yeah, there's some way. I mean, if there's people out there milking Nidoqueen, there's a good chance that they also want to milk Nidoking, if you know what I'm saying.
Ugh. Should we read these Pokédex entries?
Yeah, let's do it.
So,
Right here.
Red and Blue says it uses its powerful tail in battle to smash, constrict, then break the prey's bones. That is some dick swinging already, isn't it? That is already quite the claim.
Yeah,
Um,
that already feels
I'm
better
just like,
than Nidoqueen.
I would also like to point out that like if you look at the move set, it actually doesn't learn any tail-based attacking moves by leveling up. It doesn't even learn tail whip, which you'd think would be a pretty easy one. but you can teach it via TM Iron Tail. So, and Poison Tail by breeding. So apparently its tail was important enough to mention in its Pokedex entry, but it doesn't actually have any tail-based moves in the first generation.
Yeah, I was going to ask if it learned Constrict as a result of that that entry.
I am very confident that it can't. I'm gonna look, but I'm pretty sure it
Yeah.
can't.
I'll tell you one other thing as well.
No, it can't. It's mentioned in two Pokedex entries and the Bulbapedia bio that it constricts, but it does not learn the move constrict.
Ridiculous. Ridiculous.
In what on earth are they thinking?
I've immediately thought
Anyway.
to myself, right, well, now Nidoking, it cannot get 10 out of 10 on the Trubbish rating. But not that it ever was going to get that anyway.
It was not going to. It was not going to.
But
Yellow continues to dick swing. Its steel-like hide adds to its powerful tackle. Its horns are so hard that they can pierce a diamond.
Jesus Christ. All Nidoqueen got was scaly.
Yeah, it's like scaly and won't give up until you kill it.
Yeah.
Stadium, very similar, has a rock-hard hide that is worn like armor. The long horn on its head is sharp and highly venomous. So, like, here, we're seeing some versatility in how Nidoking attacks. I don't think we see the same versatility in its move pool, but we see some versatility in the Pokedex entries, which is interesting. And definitely less one note than Nidoqueen. I wonder why.
It wouldn't surprise me if they go, okay, we got this cool like entry for Nidoqueen. It uses its powerful tail to battle to smash, constrict, then break. And they go, oh, just give it Nidoking and come up with a new one.
Yeah. Gold is sticking with the tail, despite it not knowing any tail type moves.
Yeah.
It swings its big tail around during battle. If its foe flinches, it will charge with its sturdy body. Silver, sticking with the tail. Its tail is thick and powerful. If it binds an enemy, it can snap the victim's spine quite easily. I feel like tail is a euphemism for something.
Maybe.
That like, you know, if a Nidoking has a small tail, he's going to be sensitive about it.
Yeah.
Swinging his thick, girthy tail around.
You know what they
to
say?
show his masculinity.
Yeah. You know what they say about Nidokings with small tails? Small socks.
Small socks. So Crystal expands a little bit. It uses its thick arms, legs, and tail to attack forcefully. Melee combat is its specialty. That makes sense.
Yeah.
Stadium 2 is Copy's gold homework again. Ruby and Sapphire.
I don't consider Nidoking like a tail-heavy Pokemon.
No, me neither. Like, I know it has a tail.
Yeah.
But, like, I don't think of it as it being one of its primary things. I'm honestly surprised it wouldn't use its horn more, because it's very prominent on its face.
Do you know what I think happened? I think that they went similar to what happened with Nidoqueen. I bet you they had a load of horn stuff and they were like, well, we've just sorted out Rhyhorn and Rhydon.
And Goldeen and Seeking also have horns.
Yeah.
There are lots of Pokemon with horns in the first one. Dugong has a horn.
Whereas in the first gen, I can't think of any others that I'm like, okay, that's like very tail specific.
Donking great big tails, yeah. Well, Ruby and Sapphire have continued on the theme. And Emerald is basically the same as well. Nidoking's thick tail packs enormously destructive power. With one swing, it can topple a metal transmission tower. Once this Pokemon goes on a rampage, there's no stopping it. Why do I not remember an episode where a Nidoking on a rampage knocks over a metal transmission tower? That is such a distinct, specific thing.
Yeah.
And Goldenrod City... No, that's in Generation 2. But, like, why didn't they use that?
Agreed.
I don't remember Ruby and Sapphire having, like, a major transmission tower. I remember Goldenrod in Gen 2 having the radio tower. But like, I don't like. I remember Gen 3. It's like one of my it's like my favorite generation up until Gen 9, which is now edging it out. But like, why has like why did we not see this? Like,
Yeah,
why are they not making use of this?
agree.
I'm offended. I feel like we're missing out on some like cool nidoking content.
Yeah, well, who comes up with this, and why was it not used?
So Fire Red has a is actually focusing on the horn,
Yeah.
which I think is interesting.
Well, this is
It's
the first one, though, isn't it? This is.
yeah, it
Yeah.
is recognized by its rock hard hide and its extended horn. Be careful with the horn, as it contains venom. I don't see much dick swinging in that. I think saying it contains venom is like a lot more understated than some of the other stuff we've got about the level of poison you'll experience if you so much as touch something. Leaf green has the same as red and blue.
Yeah.
Diamond, pearl, and platinum back on the tail. One swing of its mighty tail can snap a telephone pole as if it were a matchstick.
Oh,
Um,
wouldn't you be annoyed? Wouldn't you be annoyed if you had like a really important business meeting and I'm like, why couldn't you join that Zoom call?
Nidoking fucked up the fucking telephone pole.
What? First it's the metal transmission towers. Now it's the telephone poles. They fucking get rid. Get rid.
Um, heart gold and soul silver have the same as gold and silver. Black, white, and black and white 2 have the same as diamond, pearl, and platinum. X has used same as red. Be careful with its horn. Y has gone back to this telephone pole like a matchstick.
Yeah.
Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire have taken the same one as Ruby and Sapphire. Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee have taken the one from Yellow. All right, here we go. I quite like this one because this gives the context of community in Sword.
Ooh.
When it goes on a rampage, it's impossible to control. But in the presence of a Nidoqueen it has lived with for a long time, Nidoking calms down. I like that.
Yeah.
I think that that shows that Nidoqueen's nurturing role has something important instead of like just children. I don't love the implication that like fragile male tempers need to be calmed down by a long-suffering woman.
Yeah.
But I think, you know, we're talking about animals here. So if it like, you know, if you were to see that like in a setting in nature in the wild, I think that would be quite an interesting thing to observe
Yeah.
in say like, you know, the next Legends game, if you're wandering around a little bit of area that has some wild Nidoking and Nidoqueen, just seeing it happen in the background would be fucking cool.
Yeah. I see. It makes me want to watch like a Nidoking, Nidoqueen like sitcom or soap opera.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah. Shield has it prides itself on its strength. It's forceful and spirited in battle, making use of its thick tail and diamond crushing horn. So I think it being prideful is a new and interesting development, but otherwise that's not much new information.
Yeah.
And Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl is back to the telephone pole. So there we are. Nidoking done.
Fabulous. So, well, let's have a look at the Smogon entries and see if they have continued to do Nidoqueen dirty. Right, so okie doke. So we've got what's UU underused. So
I can believe that.
second usage turbo. So it looks like it is slightly better because rarely used was the third used, and you can already see there that it's. I think its stats are better. I'm just gonna flip between the two. So, hey, it's got lower HP. So it's HP 81 versus Nidoqueen, which is on 90, but its attack is 102 versus Nidoqueen's attack, which is 92. Defense is 77. Does Nidoqueen have a higher defense? Oh, Nidoqueen does have a higher defense.
Okay.
Uh, and Nidoking has got a higher special attack, and so they've got flipped. They've got flipped for
Yeah,
that.
I think.
And here's another way that they've done it dirty a bit. So Nidoking has got a speed of 85 versus Nidoqueen, which has only got a 76.
Okay.
So they've given it higher
Well,
stats.
I guess that kind of makes sense if like Nidoking is like out there swinging, and he has to be quick, and Nidoqueen is doing the like barrier.
Yeah,
Like, I feel like they could probably make an interesting like doubles team. I
yeah,
feel like if they had um uh like optimized it a bit more creatively to be a good doubles team, that would make for some really interesting like team building options.
yeah,
But I feel like we haven't, if I'm honest with you. I feel like they designed them to be in parallel, obviously very early on because it's Gen 1. And what they haven't done is like revamped them much as new mechanics have been introduced.
yeah,
Um, I think they have been overlooked as the game has developed and as new battle structures and battle techniques have come into play, in a way that, yeah, makes them a little bit disappointing because the premise of them opens itself up to a lot of possibilities that just haven't been taken advantage of,
yeah,
unfortunately.
yeah. I'd agree with that. It's um, it's. Let's have a quick just read of what it says on its overview. So already I feel like they're fucking sucking Nidoking's dick, right? Nidoking's winds me up. Like, sucking his tail. Whoever
Sucking his
fucking,
poisonous horn.
whoever fucking, yeah, poison indeed. That's just full of poison. Uh, Nidoking's amazing, and the poison is toxic masculinity. Um, Nidoking's amazing offensive typing combined with its ability Sheer Force turns it into a very powerful wall breaker in the underused tier. Between its stab moves and Ice Beam, Nidoking is able to hit the majority of the tier super effectively, meaning it has a very flexible last move slot for another option such as Substitute or Taunt. By virtue of its typing, Nidoking is able to check Pokemon like Tentacruel and Primarina offensively and switch into Pokemon like Klefki and Zeraora with ease. Furthermore, Nidoking sets itself apart from its counterpart Nidoqueen thanks to its better speed tier and better overall offensive capabilities. However, its average speed tier makes it slower than Pokemon like Latias, Hydreigon, and Crocodile, meaning it can be easily revenge killed. It's also held back by its weakness to common typings in Ground, Psychic, Water, and Ice, making it easily exploitable by Pokemon such as Crocodile, Latias, Starmie, and Kyurem. Nidoking's mediocre bulk also makes it hard for it to find opportunities to switch in. So even in that overview, they still took a stab at Nidoqueen. Unnecessary.
Very rude of them.
Yes.
How dare they?
Yes. So, what is your Trubbish rating for Nidoking?
I don't know. I feel like probably the same as Nidoqueen, probably still a 4. Like, it's underutilized. I feel like there's a lot of missed potential. I feel like it's memorable because it like looked cool when I was a kid and impressionable, but apart from that, just doesn't have enough going for it compared to what it could be.
I think this is. It sounds like this. I really wish I gave like half ratings, or that we decided to do this out of 100 rather than 10. Because really, I want to give it a 5.5, but really, I'm going to have to give it a 5.
Yeah, I think that's very valid.
Yeah. But it's a high 5 versus Nidoqueen, which was more of a low 5.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right. So we have actually done a short one. You've got to bear in mind though, right? I'm saying this. Right, so it's 1 hour 45. We have essentially spoke about the same Pokemon for like 6 episodes. So when I put this all together as like one big, yeah, it's going to be about 7 hours.
Are you gonna do one big one for like all of the Nidoran line?
Well, I was thinking at the very least, Queen, like Nidoran male and Nidoran female would get their own collected one. But I put them out, so there you go. Follow us on YouTube, etc., etc. But I generally like collect them and this is how it went out. But for this, I've been like, oh well, maybe I should have them all together. What do you think? Do you think have them all together?
I think just do them as ones. Just do them as ones. Like I think that's going to be the most consistent. Is fine. It'd be
Okay.
fine.
Yes. Well,
Yeah.
and that avoids us being like, and we spoke about this because, like, the first one was easily like 3.5 hours, and the other one was easily like 3 hours.
That one where you were like, oh, should we do them all together because it'll be really quick? It fucking won't, mate. Fucking won't.
Yeah, that's what I was talking about in 2023. Those are simpler times. But yeah, if I put them all together, it would easily be. Now I'm working it out easily an 8-hour clip.
Yeah, do them as ones. Just number them like the Pokédex does. Do them as ones, and that way it won't like mess up the sort of structure when you look at it and it's like the episodes corresponds to the Pokédex number.
Yeah. Right.
You know?
Right then. Well, thank you for watching this 8-hour epic.
8-hour deep dive.
Where we said nothing for 8 hours.
When do we ever say anything, Tom? We have this whole Pokemon fucking podcast that exists just for us to like waffle on about horse shit that has nothing to do with Pokemon or anything.
I don't know.
Like, have we ever stayed on topic once?
I
going off on some bullshit that's just nothing to do with anything.
Armadillos can be milked. I would say that was very on topic.
Armadillos can be